Taylor Swift once said that people are going to say what they want, so she's just going to live her life. And boy, has that idea been put to the test? For an artist who has spent 2 decades under an impossibly intense microscope, the last couple of years have revealed a fascinating and, let's be honest, frustrating new reality. She doesn't even have to do anything anymore to become the main character. While the world was swept up in the Eras Tour and her history-making Grammy wins, something much messier was bubbling up in the background. It was a drama centered on her close friend, Blake Lively, and a bitter legal dispute that threatened to expose the dark side of Hollywood. And smack in the middle of it all, whether she liked it or not, was Taylor Swift. But how did she get there? How did a legal war between an actress and her director over a movie? Taylor had almost nothing to do with become the latest chapter in the saga of why everyone is mad at Taylor Swift. This isn't just a story about a celebrity feud, it's a story about the crushing gravity of modern fame, where one person's orbit is so powerful it can suck in entire news cycles without them lifting a finger. It's about friendship, loyalty, and how private conversations get turned into weapons. And it all goes back to a single, explosive lawsuit that threatened to shatter one of Hollywood's most beloved friendships. We're going to break down what reportedly happened and how Taylor Swift became the unwilling center of the Blake Lively saga. Before we get into the legal drama and the maze of headlines, you have to understand the foundation this whole controversy was built on. The very public, and by all accounts, very real friendship between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively. This wasn't your typical Hollywood we should get lunch sometime friendship. This was a bond built over years, and it became a pop culture touchstone. Their friendship went public around 2015, and from there, it grew into one of the most solid alliances in an industry known for flimsy connections. They were a real part of each other's lives. Blake and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, were regulars at Swift's famous 4th of July parties. It was even rumored that their kids inspired some of Swift's folklore-era stories, with the name Betty being used with their blessing. The friendship turned professional when Blake Lively directed the music video for I Bet You Think About Me Taylor's version, a project that got rave reviews and cemented their bond. They showed up for each other's birthdays, award shows, and big moments. This all peaked at one of the most watched TV events in history, the 2024 Super Bowl. As the world watched the Kansas City Chiefs, millions were also glued to the celebrity suite, where Blake Lively was a key member of Taylor's crew. Cheering on Travis Kelce, they were laughing, hugging, and completely into the game. This wasn't just a hangout, it was a powerful picture of a united front, a golden portrait of celebrity sisterhood. That's the image the public had. 2 powerful, successful women who were genuine friends. They were aspirational, and it's the strength of that public friendship that made what happened next so shocking. But what do you think? Are high-profile celebrity friendships like this one for real, or are they just good PR? Let me know in the comments, because when drama exploded in Blake Lively's professional life, the world didn't just wonder about her side of the story. They immediately turned and asked, "What does Taylor think?" That question, and the silence that followed, is where this story really begins. The spark that lit this whole fire wasn't a tweet or a photo, but a legal battle over the film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's blockbuster novel, It Ends With Us. The book, which tackles the heavy themes of domestic abuse, was a global sensation, and the movie was one of the most anticipated releases of 2024. It starred Blake Lively as the main character, Lily Bloom, and was directed by Justin Baldoni, who also played the volatile neurosurgeon, Even during production, there were signs of trouble. Reports of creative clashes and a tense vibe on set began to leak. During the press tour, the distance between Lively and Baldoni was obvious, fueling rumors of a major falling out. The behind-the-scenes tension finally blew up in December 2024. Reports surfaced that Blake Lively had filed a complaint, followed by a federal lawsuit against Justin Baldoni and his production company, Wayfarer Studios. The allegations in Lively's lawsuit were serious. She claimed Baldoni had fostered a hostile workplace and engaged in inappropriate behavior. Critically, the suit also alleged that after she voiced her concerns, Baldoni's team launched a retaliatory smear campaign against her to damage her reputation. This allegedly included planting negative stories and using a digital army to trash her on social media. Justin Baldoni fired back, denying everything. He claimed their issues were just creative disagreements that Lively blew out of proportion to gain more control over the movie. He then countersued Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds for defamation and extortion, though a judge later threw that lawsuit out. So yada messy? He said, she said, legal war between the movie's 2 stars, with accusations of harassment, sabotage, and retaliation. The stage was set for a courtroom drama. It's a classic, messy situation. Based on just the initial allegations, who did you find more convincing? But the biggest plot twist wasn't in the lawsuit itself, but in how a global superstar who had nothing to do with the film was about to be dragged right into the middle of it.
At a point where like something can be about me, like my name can be in the actual headline, and it can still be none of my business.
Okay.
Like, people might be out here doing too much.
Just shaking ass.
Doesn't mean I have to do a damn thing. A lot of people's identities and they get their feedback from that, right? Like, and I'm a real constructive criticism guy. Like, give me constructive criticism all day. I will take it. It'll fuel.
Taylor Swift got tangled up in a Lively Baldoni mess, thanks to a perfect storm of three things: her music, her friendship, and her silence. Her reps made her official position clear. Her only involvement was licensing her song My Tears, Ricochet, for the movie's trailer. A statement from her team insisted she never set foot on the set of this movie, was not involved in any casting or creative decisions, and never saw an edit or made any notes on the film. They argued that dragging her into the case was just a tactic to draw public interest by creating tabloid clickbait instead of focusing on the facts of the case. And yet, that's exactly what happened! First, there was the song. For Swifties, My Tears, Ricochet was a huge clue. The folklore track is a haunting song about betrayal, sung from the perspective of a woman watching the man who wronged her pretend to grieve at her funeral. Lyrics like, "And if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake? Cursing my name, wishing I'd stay," felt like they were written for this exact drama. Using it in the trailer immediately linked the movie's conflict to Taylor's world of toxic partnerships and public takedown. The second, more powerful connection was her famous friendship with Blake Lively. Because they were so close, everyone just assumed Taylor had to be involved behind the scenes, acting as Blake's confidant. That assumption went into overdrive in January 2026, when unsealed court documents, including text messages between Lively and Swift, were made public. In the messages, Swift seemed to be advising Lively on handling Hollywood power players and appeared to criticize Baldoni. In one text, Swift reportedly wrote, "His misogyny runs so deep, he thinks women are incapable of winning chess matches or making long-game power plays." Lively, in return, reportedly called Swift the actual Roman Empire for her strategic advice. This is where it gets really messy. Do you think it's fair for private texts between friends to be used as ammunition in a legal battle? Or is everything fair game in court? These texts confirmed Swift was actively supporting her friend. Her fans saw it as fierce loyalty, but Baldoni's legal team tried to spin it as a coordinated attack. They had even subpoenaed Swift, hoping to prove she was part of Lively's strategy. A claim Swift's team shot down. The subpoena was withdrawn, but the damage was done. The texts gave the world a peek, however incomplete, into Swift's private role in the drama. This leads to the final, most important factor: the void. As the legal fight escalated, Taylor Swift stayed publicly silent. No statements, no social media posts, no interview comments. This silence, her go-to strategy for years, created a vacuum. And into that vacuum rushed speculation, rumors, and outright lies. Online gossip forums and Reddit threads built their own narratives. Totally false stories about massive lawsuits took root. Theories about a huge fight between Swift and Lively started to spread. The whole thing became a black hole for gossip. Unnamed insiders claimed the friendship was strained. Every photo or lack of a photo was analyzed for secret meanings. The drama spiraled far beyond the actual legal case, which was eventually settled. The real story was buried under an avalanche of guessing games. Taylor's role was twisted from a loyal friend offering private support to a shadowy figure in a Hollywood power game. Her silence didn't make the story go away. It just made it bigger and way more interesting for a public hungry for drama. Was not involved in any casting or creative decisions, and never saw an edit or made any notes on the film. They argued that dragging her into the case was just a tactic to draw public interest by creating tabloid clickbait instead of focusing on the facts of the case. And yet, that's exactly what happened! First, there was the song. For Swifties, My Tears, Ricochet was a huge clue. The folklore track is a haunting song about betrayal, sung from the perspective of a woman watching the man who wronged her pretend to grieve at her funeral. Lyrics like, "And if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake? Cursing my name, wishing I'd stay," felt like they were written for this exact drama. Using it in the trailer immediately linked the movie's conflict to Taylor's world of toxic partnerships and public takedown. The second, more powerful connection was her famous friendship with Blake Lively. Because they were so close, everyone just assumed Taylor had to be involved behind the scenes, acting as Blake's confidant. That assumption went into overdrive in January 2026, when unsealed court documents, including text messages between Lively and Swift, were made public. In the messages, Swift seemed to be advising Lively on handling Hollywood power players and appeared to criticize Baldoni. In one text, Swift reportedly wrote, "His misogyny runs so deep, he thinks women are incapable of winning chess matches or making long-game power plays." Lively, in return, reportedly called Swift the actual Roman Empire for her strategic advice. This is where it gets really messy. Do you think it's fair for private texts between friends to be used as ammunition in a legal battle? Or is everything fair game in court? These texts confirmed Swift was actively supporting her friend. Her fans saw it as fierce loyalty. But Baldoni's legal team tried to spin it as a coordinated attack. They had even subpoenaed Swift, hoping to prove she was part of Lively's strategy. A claim Swift's team shot down. The subpoena was withdrawn, but the damage was done. The texts gave the world a peek, however incomplete, into Swift's private role in the drama. This leads to the final, most important factor: the void. As the legal fight escalated, Taylor Swift stayed publicly silent. No statements, no social media posts, no interview comments. This silence, her go-to strategy for years, created a vacuum. And into that vacuum rushed speculation, rumors, and outright lies. Online gossip forums and Reddit threads built their own narratives. Totally false stories about massive lawsuits took root. Theories about a huge fight between Swift and Lively started to spread. The whole thing became a black hole for gossip. Unnamed insiders claimed the friendship was strained. Every photo or lack of a photo was analyzed for secret meanings. The drama spiraled far beyond the actual legal case, which was eventually settled. The real story was buried under an avalanche of guessing games. Taylor's role was twisted from a loyal friend offering private support to a shadowy figure in a Hollywood power game. Her silence didn't make the story go away. It just made it bigger and way more interesting for a public hungry for drama. It's wild, isn't it, how a story completely changes once it enters the orbit of a megastar like Taylor Swift. It raises a huge question. Is it even possible to stay out of the drama when your name alone is the biggest headline? I'm curious to know what you think. Is Taylor a victim of her own fame? Or does this just come with the territory? Let me know your theory down in the comments. And if you're finding this breakdown interesting, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. Now, let's get back to it. This whole Blake Lively saga isn't a one-off. To get why everyone seems to be mad at Taylor Swift again, you have to zoom out. This is just the latest, and maybe the clearest, example of a pattern. Taylor Swift isn't just a pop star anymore. She's a cultural phenomenon so huge that she acts like a cultural vacuum, pulling any nearby stories, dramas, and people into her world. The why now isn't just about this one lawsuit. It's about her reaching a level of fame where she doesn't just participate in the news cycle. She is the news cycle. You can see this playing out in a few key ways. First, look at her inner circle. She's not friends with obscure actors. She's friends with people like Blake Lively, Selena Gomez, and Gigi Hadid stars, who are media magnets on their own. When anyone in her squad gets into trouble, the spotlight immediately swings to Taylor. Her reaction or no reaction becomes the story. A friend's problem becomes her problem. Second, there's the public weaponization of her private life. The texts in the Lively case are a perfect example. She was giving private advice to a friend, and those messages were then used by an opposing legal team as supposed proof of a conspiracy. This has happened before. The most infamous example is the 2016 phone call with Kanye West, which was secretly recorded and released to make her look like a liar.
Always, relationships are more important than punchlines, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody would listen to that and be like, oh, that's a real diss. Like, she must be crying about that line. And I think because of how crazy and strange and fateful the way we met was, I think we have to pick our moments to like do stuff together and make sure it's only really cool stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like we can't have it like be somebody else's idea that gets in front of it, and they're like, because if you're like a really true creative, visceral, vibey like person, it's probably hard for you to work at a corporation. So how can you give a creative ideas, and you're working in a house of non-creativity? It's like this weird. So whenever we talk directly, okay, now what if later in the song I was also to have said, I made her famous? Is that
Did you say that?
Yes, it might have happened.
Oh, God. Well, what am I going to do about it?
Like that, do the hair flip?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like whatever at this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, just you got to tell the story the way that it happened to you and the way that you experienced it. Like, you honestly didn't know who I was before that. Like,
Right.
it doesn't matter if I sold 7 million of that album before you did that, which is what happened. You didn't know who I was before that. It's fine.
Right.
But yeah, I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's definitely you're ready to trend. That's all I say.
What's the song called?
It might be called Hood Famous.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Is it going to be like a single, or is it going to be a SoundCloud release? What are you doing?
Oh, this one right here is like, fucking song of the year type territory.
Oh my god, amazing.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh my god. Oh, speaking of song of the year, are you going to Grammy?
You know what? I was thinking to not do it, but I think that this song, you know what? I'm gonna send you the song and send you the exact wording and everything about it, right? And then we can sit and talk through it. But if the song goes and fucking just
more stuff, they just like look at us and they're like, you already have so much. Even if we've made an incredible achievement, it's harder for people to write down our names for some reason. I get it.
I mean,
it's just human nature. It's envy. It's asking people in our industry to vote for the people who are already killing it.
yeah. It's like how so many people wanted Meek Mills to win because so many people wanted Meek Mills to win because just Drake was just killing it for so long. And they're just like, we just need like Meek Mills to like but I think, okay, so that has my mind going through a lot of places to problem solve. But I was talking to Ben Horowitz. Do you know this guy? He's a VC at Dreesen and Horowitz out of San Fran. But he's down with that.
I know that name. I don't know him.
It's just like the San Fran clique, that type of thing. Like he stays down the street from Mark Zuckerberg and shit like that. So I was talking to him and I was like, bro, like me, I'm in personal debt. I'm in debt by a good like 20-30 million ever since the fashion and still have not made it out of it. So that's part of the reason why I had to go to Rock Nation and the touring deals, blah, and it allowed the whole town to try to feel like they could control Kanye or either talk to me like I'm regular or have agents do it, but they saw they couldn't. It's like even in debt, he moves around like he's like a billionaire. I'm like, yeah, I'm a cultural trillionaire. I might have financial debt. So I told Ben Horowitz, I was like, you guys, Mark Zuckerberg, or whoever, Tim Cook, you guys have to clean that up. So I'm sending Ben Horowitz my current balance. That means like I'm not up 50, not up 100 million, not up 200 million, not up 300 million. No, negative 20 million. Currently, Kanye West, the guy who created the genre of music that is The Weeknd, that is Drake, the guy who created every single person that makes music right now, favorite album is The College Dropout. Every single person that makes music that is there. But I'm rich enough I have my wife, I went into debt to my wife by $6 million working on a fucking house less than like a few months ago, and I was able to pay her back before Christmas and shit like that. So, when I talk about Nike, the idea that they wouldn't give me a percentage, that I could make something that was so tangible, when Drake was just rapping me into the motherfucking trash can, that I could have something that was tangible that showed my creativity and express myself, that also could be a business that I could have a 5 times multiple on and actually be able to sell it for like $100 million, $200 billion. That was very serious. Every conversation, every time I scream at Charlemagne or scream at Sway, that was really, really, really serious. And it also was with my family. I felt like, look, if I'm just an angry black guy with some cool red shoes from Nike 5 years ago, I was going to be visiting my daughter as opposed to be living with her. It would have been like enough is enough. It wouldn't have been cool anymore because there would have been a group of people, including my wife, that all had at least like 500, 400 million in their account. And then you get the angry black man at the party talking about, I'm the one who put Kim in the dress. I'm the one who did this. But it never realized itself. So that's one of the things I just talked to Ben. And I'm really, because I talk about it on the album, talk about personal debt and shit. Just the idea, like, oh shit, this dude with this fucking Maybach that makes fucking $50 million a tour still hasn't lined it up or came out of the point when AG.
That event totally changed how she deals with the public. But the lesson is clear. For Taylor Swift, nothing is ever truly private. Any text or call is a potential future headline waiting to be twisted. That brings us to the third pattern, the speculation machine. Taylor Swift's silence is never just silence. The media sees it as a blank canvas to paint whatever story gets clicks. Her fans see it as a puzzle to solve, a mastermind chess move to decode. Every lyric, outfit, and public appearance is scoured for clues. When she dated Maddie Healy in 2023, his past controversies became her problem, and critics called her silence complicity. When she started dating Travis Kelce, she was immediately dragged into narratives about his exes and the NFL. She even commented on this herself during a press conference in the fall of 2024, talking about the media frenzy at Chiefs games. She said, "I'm just there to support Travis. I have no awareness of if I'm being shown too much and pissing off a few dads, Brads, and Chads." It was a surprisingly candid admission that she knows her mere presence is an event she can't control. Do you think any other celebrity has this kind of cultural vacuum effect? Or is Taylor in a league of her own? Drop some names, if you can think of any. This cultural vacuum is the defining feature of her current fame. The Blake Lively drama is the perfect case study. It involved an A-list friend. Her private texts were exposed, and her public silence allowed a messy legal dispute to be blown up into a massive, friendship-ending feud in the public's mind. That's the why now. It's not because she did something wrong. It's because, in 2026, Taylor Swift doesn't have to do anything to be the center of the story. Her fame does the work for her. When you dig in, it's clear the controversies around Taylor Swift aren't random. They happen because two key parts of her life are consistently turned against her: her friendships and her silence. What used to be a loyal crew and a smart media strategy have become her biggest vulnerabilities. First, her friendships have been weaponized. In the celebrity world, a high-profile friendship is a double-edged sword. It projects loyalty and warmth, qualities that have always been key to her brand. But the flip side is that these friendships create a network of potential liabilities. The Blake Lively case shows this perfectly. Taylor's loyalty, expressed in private texts, was repackaged as evidence in a legal war. Her advice wasn't just a private chat, it was framed as a strategic move in a public fight. This puts her in an impossible spot. If she publicly defends a friend, she's accused of using her power to rig the court of public opinion. If she supports them privately and it leaks, she's a secret puppet master. And if she stays out of it, she's a bad friend who abandons people. Every option is a trap. Seriously? What would you even do in that situation? Is there a right way for her to handle a friend's public crisis? I'm curious to hear your strategy. Her friendships are no longer just personal, they're potential targets for her opponents. Second, there's the weaponization of her silence. Taylor's relationship with silence is one of the defining arcs of her career. After the 2016 Kanye incident, she vanished, using silence as a shield and letting the Reputation album do the talking. It was a power move. In recent years, that's become her default. Don't comment on rumors, don't engage with gossip, just float above it all. But as the Lively Baldoni case shows, that strategy can blow up. Her silence didn't kill the story. It was like throwing gasoline on a fire. The media and online commentators hate a vacuum, and Taylor's silence created a huge one. It let the narrative be shaped by unnamed sources, wild speculation, and out-of-context legal filings. The space she refused to fill with her own words was quickly filled by everyone else's. Her own fandom has a complicated role in this. Swifties are one of the most organized fan bases on the planet, often acting as a rapid response defense team. But their passion for decoding her every move can also fuel the fire. Fan theories, often based on nothing, can spiral from forums to gossip blogs to mainstream news. A theory about a lyric can become a reported fact in days. So, her silence, meant to starve the controversy, sometimes ends up giving it the oxygen it needs to grow. If the Blake Lively saga proves Taylor Swift can be dragged into a drama she wants no part of, then the constant rumors about her future wedding to Travis Kelce prove something even crazier. She can be at the center of a drama that hasn't even happened yet. This is her fame's gravitational pull at its most extreme, the creation of phantom feuds. As of May 2026, Taylor and Travis are not officially engaged. No announcement, no ring, no date. And yet, the gossip machine has been operating for months as if the wedding is happening tomorrow, and the focus isn't the couple or the dress, it's the guest list. Or, more accurately, the snub list. Headlines and social media threads are already speculating about who will and won't be invited to this imaginary wedding. These snub lists are treated like a scorecard of Taylor's alliances. Of course, Blake Lively's name is all over them. Some reports claim their friendship is so broken that an invite is off the table, while others say Blake is already picking out a dress. The narrative of their shattered friendship is being kept alive by a non-existent event. Think about how wild that IZ people are fighting over a guest list for a wedding that isn't even happening. Have you seen any of these phantom feud theories online? And the usual suspects are there, too. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian are obviously off the list, a throwback to a decade-old feud. Other names, like Olivia Rodrigo and Sabrina Carpenter, are thrown in, referencing rumored professional rivalries. Her exes, Joe Alwyn and Maddie Healy, are also listed as definite snubs, turning the hypothetical guest list into a final judgment on her entire relationship history. This is what's so wild. Taylor Swift's life is now being treated like a TV show, with the public writing future episodes before she's even lived them. The wedding snub list is the perfect, self-sustaining controversy. It needs no new facts. It lets the media rehash all her old dramas. Kanye Kim, Scooter Brown under the guise of a news story. This is the final piece of the puzzle. It shows that the anger aimed at her isn't always tied to her actions. Her life has become a shared universe where the public feels entitled to write the plot. The anger isn't just about what she did or didn't do in the Blake Lively case. It's about the perceived power she holds. A power symbolized by something as simple as a fantasy wedding invitation. Drama isn't something that just happens to Taylor Swift anymore. It's manufactured around her, with or without her consent. So, back to the big question. Why is everyone mad at Taylor Swift again? The answer is complicated. The drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni was the flashpoint, but it wasn't the cause. It just exposed a bigger truth about her fame right now. We saw how a strong friendship became a liability. We saw how private texts, meant as friendly advice, were unsealed and spun into a story of manipulation. And we saw how her decision to stay silent created a vacuum filled with rumors and speculation that spiraled out of control. The legal dispute was eventually settled in early May 2026, with Lively and Baldoni releasing a joint statement, but the controversy it stirred up for Taylor Swift is still lingering, becoming just another part of her ongoing story. She has reached a level of celebrity that is almost unprecedented. It's a fame so huge that she no longer has to do anything to be the main character. Her name is a magnet for controversy, her silence is a canvas for speculation, and her life has become a stage for phantom feuds. The anger isn't always about something she did. It's often just a reaction to her sheer size, a frustration with her seemingly untouchable status. In her 2023 Person of the Year interview, Taylor said, "The opposite of that is you have to go to an extreme amount of effort to make sure no one knows that you're seeing someone. And we're just proud of each other." That pride and openness have defined her recent years, but it's come with a cost. The world is watching so closely that they now see stories that aren't even there. She's become a cultural Rorschach test. People see in her what they want to see: a mastermind, a victim, a loyal friend, a mean girl. The truth is, she's probably all of those things, just like any person. But in the hyper-reality of modern fame, there's no room for that kind of nuance. So what's your final take? Is Taylor Swift a victim of a level of fame so big she can't escape being blamed for everything? Or is her calculated silence a power move that, this time, just backfired and created even more chaos? There's a lot to unpack here, and I genuinely want to know what you think. Leave your final verdict in the comments below. And as always, thank you.
Give me constructive
for watching.
criticism all day. I will take it. It'll fuel me. It's helpful, right? But I have so many friends or acquaintances or people who are they'll see one comment they don't like, and it will ruin their day. It'll ruin their night. And I just want to say to them, you should think of your energy as if it's expensive, as if it's like a luxury item. Not everyone can afford it. Not everyone has invested in you in order to be able to have the capital for you to care about this. Because what you spend your energy on, that's the day.
And it's true.
Right? It doesn't matter where you were. Maybe you went to go get coffee today. Maybe you saw friends today. If you were obsessing over one thing that you saw, you literally saw some guy call you mid, and you can't stop thinking about it.
No, he did not.
You can't stop thinking about it, dude. That's the day then. That's the night then. And so I just